Hey friends, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. Happy 2026, this is Gina. If you haven't yet, go ahead and like this video. You can share it with someone if it makes sense. Feel free to hit the subscribe button if you want. But what are we talking about today? We are going to be going over some installation information for the fabulous car seat you see right there. That is the NUNA RAVA Next. So this is not a video for the original RAVA. This is for the newest version, the RAVA Next. And so this is my inner law school dropout wanting to make sure that you understand that this video is not meant to supplement or be the end-all be-all of instructions. This is just tips and tricks. Nothing will substitute from reading your vehicle manual and the car seat's instruction manual as well. So again, that is your responsibility to do. But again, if you have questions or are concerned or want to see a visual aid to go along with that, this is the perfect video for you to watch. We will be covering forward-facing and rear-facing installation for a seatbelt or lower anchors. So get ready, stay tuned, be excited. We're going to learn a whole bunch today, and I'm so glad to have you back here in the new year. Let's launch right in. Hey gang, Gina here from Destination Baby. Super excited to help you today to go over a forward-facing seatbelt installation for the fabulous new flame retardant-free RAVA Next, okay? So, my inner law school dropout wants to remind you that this video does not substitute for reading the manual. It does not substitute for reading your vehicle manual either, but this is just supposed to be a supplemental video to help with a little bit of some visual guideline for people that might be confused on how to do a correct installation for the forward-facing mode belt installation for the RAVA Next car seat, okay? And again, not the same for RAVA. RAVA Next has some different rules, so if you want to check out my RAVA video, you need to specify which one that you're doing because this is just for RAVA Next. Okay, so we're going to do a forward-facing belt installation for our RAVA Next car seat. The first thing I would ask you if you were coming into the store is how big is the kiddo going into this seat? So let's talk about that. I'm going to assume that this guy is for a 4-year-old that is 44 standing inches and 45 pounds, okay? Cool. The seat is totally capable and able to be used this way. So in order to make it acceptable to take a kiddo that big, let's go ahead and start by prepping the seat before we worry about installing it. The first step for prepping this seat would be to hit your harness release tab, which is in between the legs, pull on this harness, and then I'm also going to raise this headrest up. So there's this NUNA embroidery here. There's a pinch handle in there. Let's go ahead and raise that headrest up. So easy. Sweet. Now, let's go ahead and remove this infant head pad. That's for a small kiddo. Again, this is for like a big 4-year-old, so we wouldn't worry about that for that kiddo. And then we're also going to remove our infant padding. Let's go ahead and take that out. So I'm going to unbuckle my harness. I'm going to go ahead and hit the chest clip. There's little snaps on the back. There's also this crotch piece here. Removing stuff by taking the crotch piece out first is critical. So we're going to take this out, but we're not going to put this away with the other stuff because this we're going to need to use at the end. We will always use this seat with the crotch belt pad and the shoulder belt pads, okay? It's in the manual. We don't want to argue with the manual, right? The manual tells us everything that we need to know. So let's pull out our infant padding. See ya. Put it away. Store it for baby number 2 or 3 or 4. And then another thing that's kind of interesting on this seat, this RAVA Next that's different than the RAVA, is that they have side impact pieces that are these little pillows on the inside of the seat. Those are only meant to be used for a child up through 40 pounds and 43 inches. So because we talked about the size of this child being, 4 years old, 44 pounds and 46 inches, we're going to go ahead and remove that. I keep changing the size of this kid, but the point is they're big enough to remove this pillow piece. So let's go ahead and take that out. If you pull the material on the back of the seat, it is all attached. Typically these are snapped together. So I'm going to go ahead and unsnap on either side, pull this forward, and then I actually want to fully remove this piece from the other material. Now my other installation videos, I don't show how to do this because most people are using this seat for smaller children, but you'll pull your crotch belt buckle through and you'll remove this whole little gang, okay? Wingy, so take that out. Tommy want wingy. Now, another exciting feature is once we have that out, there is actually an adjustable crotch piece on the seat, meaning there's an interior and an exterior. We're gonna go ahead and move it out because this kiddo is bigger. It reads push and slide right here. So if I close this up, I don't know if it necessarily needs to be closed, but in general, I find that to get the tension to be able to push it, it's smarter to have it closed. I'm pushing that, scooting that buckle forward, and then when I re-thread it back through, it's gonna move to the outer slot, okay? We can't do that for small kids. If they're using those side impact wings, we absolutely have to have this on that interior piece. But again, for your bigger kid, we're not using those. I'll go ahead and move that out. Very, very cool. Now, another prep piece for this guy is gonna be underneath. There is a little foot plate, and this will be easier. If you recline it, you can pull this out a little more easily. And go ahead and hit the button and sit that bad boy back up. On the side of the seat, there's a piece that says press and recline. For forward facing, that's our red mode. And if you notice here, there's like a little red window. That's where our seatbelt's gonna go through for installation. We'll get to that in a second. But what I would tell you is you're gonna wanna preemptively pick your recline position for the seat prior to installation. Once the seat is installed, you can't adjust the recline. You have to uninstall it and then recline it or change it and then reinstall it. So that's a little bit more work. So in this case, because this kid is big, I'm gonna leave it on position 1. I feel like older children generally like to sit up a little bit more. So in my experience, I'm just gonna leave it at position 1, but I do have position 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that forward facing mode, and that is exclusively that red window there. Very cool. We're back at position 1. Now, let's go ahead and show you something else that's frequently missed when we do forward-facing installation that's very, 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 very critical. Super important. On the back of the seat, you have these beautiful vents for breathability, which I love, but you've got this little dude right here. Let's unvelcro that. And then there is this long strap. It says lift to release. So we're gonna pull on that to lengthen this and then undo this little hook that's on the back of the car seat, okay? This is called your top tether or your tether anchor. You absolutely need to use this when you're installing your seat in a forward-facing mode. So I'm just gonna throw this over the front, turn the seat back around, and why I throw it over the front is that way, like, I don't forget to do this step, because even though I've done a million installations, sometimes you're just doing them rapidly and you wanna make sure that you don't skip that step. It's so, so critical. It reads in the manual, top tether must be used when you're installing the seat in a forward-facing mode. So again, having this be here will always show us before we put our kiddo in there whether or not we've done that step. So it's just really, really an easy way to help remember. I'm gonna turn our vehicle seat completely toward the camera sideways so that you guys can see what's going on a little more clearly as we do this installation. So since I've got your attention, I'm gonna do the top tether first. I'm gonna make this nice and long, run it through my backrest, attach it to my top tether anchor point in my car. That will be in your vehicle manual. Typically, it's marked in a car with a little anchor. I've seen some Teslas where it's actually hidden and it was like super hard to find. And it took like 25 minutes to go through the book that's like on their dashboard, so annoying. But sometimes in cars it can be hard to find. Trucks are especially tricky because usually there's like a weird loop, or even in some cases you have to fold the seat fully forward, hook it up, sit the seat up. It can be kind of annoying. But again, it's totally manageable and it's a critical, critical step. So we just want to really hammer home top tether is absolutely critical for installing a forward-facing car seat. So I've hooked mine up. It's loose. I'm gonna pull this. I'm not gonna go crazy with tightening it initially because we're gonna tighten it up at the very, very end of our installation as well. Now, On the front of the seat, I'll turn this back toward the camera. On the inside, when you lift this up, there is a red door and there's a blue door. Forward-facing installation, we're gonna open up the red true tension door. So there's a pincher and you lift it up, very, very easy. And now there's like a red line that shows the seatbelt. Awesome, this is a guideline for what the hell we're trying to do with this bad boy. So I'm gonna leave this fabric upright. Hopefully it doesn't, you know what, maybe I can fold it. There we go. Just tuck it there. And then now I'm gonna turn the seat back sideways to show you guys what else is going on with this. So, remember we talked about this little red hole over here. There's actually one on the other side too. This is like a hidden tunnel that our seatbelt is going to use to hook up our car seat. So I'm gonna take my seatbelt, I'm gonna gently pull it through. And again, I don't want my belt to get twisted. I am very, very crazy about this kind of stuff. I like these seat installations to be as perfect as they can be. So I'm gonna pull that through slowly. I'm gonna make sure my belt is not twisted. I'm gonna go ahead and buckle my seatbelt. Helps if I'm looking at what I'm doing. It'll buckle. Now, I'm going to neatly kind of pull it, but without going crazy, I'm not gonna tighten it, tighten. I'm just gonna pull it through so that it sits very nicely on itself. The next step with this, which is so different than Rava or Exec Next, is I'm actually going to lock my seatbelt off before I close my true tension door. Totally different for this year's model, something I caught in the book, so I really, really wanna hammer this home. This instruction video is just specifically for this car seat because their other car seats have a different installation method with seatbelt. That's why it's so critical to read the manuals and not just assume you know everything. I think I'm a know-it-all, but the reality is stuff changes over time. And that's why I say, even later in the year, there could be a change to how they want you to install this. So this video is useful for now, but always read the manual that comes with the seat or head over to the NUNA website to download it at any point, and be sure to read your vehicle manual as well. So what locking your seatbelt off means is you come to the shoulder belt portion. You're gonna gently pull it, and you do not want to do this rapidly because you don't want to accidentally lock it off too soon and think that it's locked off when it's actually not. This is called a switchable locking retractor. Most cars have that. It's 2026, so they usually do. Years and years ago, it was kind of a gamble, but now they're all sort of made this way. When this is pulled out all the way, when it retracts back, it's generally going to be making a clicking or a ratcheting sound. I'm going to try and get closer with my microphone so you guys can hear it. That ratcheting noise is an indicator to me that this is locking off. So I'm going to let this go back to where it needs to go. And I'm going to feed some of it back. Now it doesn't need, again, to be crazy tight because our true tensioning door, which is the door on the inside, is going to do some of the work for us to eat up any slack that's in that belt. Because like if I pulled on it now, the seat's moving a little bit, but you know, it could be tighter. And there's only so much I'm going to be able to feed back in just physically. So now that I've got it fed through properly, I'm just showing you guys. I'm going to close this true tension door. Again, I've made sure that my belt is nice and flat, and go ahead and close this true tension door. If you were to over tighten, that door would not close. So again, I cannot stress strongly enough that you don't have to be an NFL player to tighten it in so tight and crazy like we had to do 20 years ago. Now we're able to just close this door very easily. I'm going to take my hands, pull on the seat. It's not moving left and right, side to side. In fact, the whole seat demo is moving, but the car seat itself is not moving more than an inch from its installation point. So that's a correct installation. At this point, I would close the bottom part of the material first. I would hit these little snaps on either side to make it nice and neat. Then I would make sure that my harness is correctly over the top of that fabric. And then I would make a determination based on kiddo sitting in here where the headrest needs to be. So for forward facing, we want it just at or slightly above the shoulders. We don't want it below the shoulder. We want it just at or above. And thankfully, there's a sticker on the inside of this NUNA car seat, this RAVA Next, that indicates where that harness needs to be in the forward facing mode. So that's very helpful. Now remember, we're not done yet because, ooh, there's another snap here that I can snap to make this psychotically perfect. Don't have OCD at all. Just want to make sure I do it all as neatly as possible. And this is good because then it's going to make sure that our harness stays in the appropriate spots when we're putting kiddo in and out of here 50,000 times a day. Remember, I talked about making sure that we put our crotch belt piece back on. So we're going to do that. And that's this little guy. It is in the manual that we need to put that on and use that with the shoulder belt pieces, even for that bigger kid. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then one other thing that I would want to stress, I'm going to turn this back around. My battery died. So again, I'm turning the seat around just to show the viewing audience at home. On that top tether on the back, I've got extra slack here, and I've got this little tail hanging out. When we undid that tail, it came with this little brown Velcro piece. I'm going to go ahead and tuck the additional tail back together and have the Velcro piece go around it. The reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want other kids to play with it. I don't want it to ever conceivably get caught around a wheel well. It just could be a nightmare. So anytime we can have these tools to make stuff neater, I'm always going to advocate for utilizing the seat that way so it'll stay nice and neat. Now, you might think, oh, we're finished. There's one additional step that we can do. We have the leg rest out, which is good, but there are side impact wings essentially on the side of the seat. You open up whichever wing is closest to the vehicle door. So let's say I'm sitting behind the passenger with this seat. I would open up the wing on the right side. If this guy were sitting behind the driver's seat, this is in America, of course, or left drive, you would open up the wing on the left side. If you're like, hey, I installed it in the center, I'm going to open up both of them. No, you don't. You actually open up neither of them for a center install. And that's all in the manual. You can definitely check that out. If you have questions about that, it is in there. That's on page 32, so I'm not making this up. But again, we're pretty much ready to go. Now, the only other piece of information to know, there's cup holders on either side. The great thing about these cup holders this year is that they hold a bigger cup. That's awesome, especially for bigger kids. However, we would point out we don't want to use anything glass in here, and we don't want to use anything metal. So sometimes people like the, stainless steel or the aluminum kind of water bottles. Those things we don't want to put in the cup holder. It is definitely written in the manual that you are not supposed to use those in this cup holder, okay? So just like silicone or plastic cups, that type of thing would be acceptable. But again, no glass and no metal in the cup holder, all right? You guys are so awesome. Thank you for watching. Again, doesn't substitute for reading the manual or reading your vehicle manual, but I'm so happy that you were able to watch. And if it makes sense to share this with someone, share it. Like, subscribe, follow. We appreciate every viewer, every view. 2026 is going to be our year. We love our viewing audience. Thank you so much for watching. And please feel free to leave questions or comments at the end down here in the comment section here on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your day.